This is a tutorial of how to create a mock-up using After Effects, QuickTime, some internet things, just a bunch of stuff to make a good-looking prototype for your portfolio. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take videos of both my desktop and mobile version of the site that I'm creating this prototype for. So I already did that to kind of speed up things, and I used QuickTime. So if you use QuickTime and go to File, New Screen Recording, this will allow you to record your screen. And this is how I make all these videos, and it's easy. The file size is fairly large, which is good because the quality is well done, but I can't show you because I'm recording right now, but this would be highlighted that you could choose. I recorded going through, and then what I'm going to do, I'm still in QuickTime. Here's one of the videos that I took. You can see it's going through the website. Has a little bit of a beginning when I'm fumbling to get full screen, and then a little bit at the end when I want to cut it out. So in QuickTime, I'm going to trim this. So if I hit Command-T on Mac, Control-T on PC, I can kind of take these two bookends and arrow down to where I want it to begin. So I'm going to say like about here, and then I come the other way and trim it right about there. And then hit trim. All right, and that trimmed it down, which is great. So now I'm going to save this to my desktop. I'm just going to call this screen. It's going to take a minute because it's not that long, great, and close that out. Now, I have to get a couple other things to utilize in After Effects before we hop in. So I'm going to go to the internet. I have this open. Here is the documentation site of all the aspects of the site. So I'm going to pull from this as well coming up. I'm going to pull my summary in a second. This is Kelsey's website that I'm using. And I'm also going to find some music. So here I'm using free instrumental music on YouTube, which I can share this link. And what I need to do is kind of grab it. So the easiest way to grab audio is by using this online video converter. Oops. Online video converter. Here, you can paste in the YouTube video that you would like to kind of rip that free content from. So I'm going to come over here to here, and I would copy, this. So I'd copy my link here, and I would paste it into my video converter. I want to do convert a video link. And I'm going to paste that in, and it's going to ask me if I want a video format or an audio. We just need audio because we don't have any visuals, so I could paste that in. And I have my ad blocker on, so I can't download right now. Let me in. Okay. And I can download this from Online Video Converter, which I already did, so I'm going to close that out. Lastly, I would also want to collect, maybe if you want to use a video screen or some kind of stock photo that you can use to put your desktop version in or phone version. So I'm grabbing all these things, and then I'm going to minimize this and go over to After Effects. So this is After Effects, the Creative Cloud version 2019. I just downloaded this. So far, not a ton of changes, but if you're wondering if something looks different, that might be why. Over here in my projects folder is where I'm going to put all these assets. So I'm going to have to go over here and throw in my screen video that I just saved. I already have my mobile video in there. I have my monitor I put in. I have the music that I downloaded. I have my logo itself, and I would recommend saving it as an AI. Then you can animate that logo if you want to as well. And after I put all my assets in, now I'm ready for a new composition. So I can hit new composition here. I can do new composition here, wherever you want to do. So composition settings. This is where we want to make sure to set this up correctly. First thing is, what should we save this as? Now, I don't think we need 1080p. Some high res there. So I would just recommend HDTV 720 29.97. as my document size, and I'm going to keep this all as is, and this is how long I want this to be. So I kind of said max 3 minutes, so I'm going to start with 3 minutes. I can always cut it down. Background color, if you want to select that and say okay. So here's our document. Now we can nest in After Effects, so we could make stuff and then bring it in, kind of documents within documents, like a smart object, or something to that extent, which you might want to do as well. So let's start off. I want the first one to be the logo coming in, so I'm going to drag over my logo, and I think I just took a screenshot of hers. Here we go, and I can scale this down, bring this into place, and then I'm going to also bring over my summary. So maybe I'm just going to put this over here, and of course you can make this more complicated than I would do in this 15-minute video. So I'm going to copy what she typed up, and I'm going to create a text box. So the tools are across the top, and I'm going to paste in my type. So I can see here it's huge, 72 fonts, 72 pixel. I'm going to take that down to 25. I'm going to make it black so we can see it, and I'm going to pick a font that's in my website to keep it consistent for branding purposes, which I'm not sure what she did, so I'm just going to use regular. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in and I can see, I'm going to obviously make sure this reads well. Maybe I want to bold, highlight some things. I want to make sure it's enough that is clear, but not too much that it's too much to read, which this I would say is probably too much to read. Bullet points might do well in this area, but I would keep it short and sweet. And I can even see a typo right there that I would make sure to fix. All right, so that's my first part. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of animate things in. So remembering that in After Effects we're using keyframes to animate. So for instance, if I arrow down here on my logo or her logo and then arrow down again on transform, I usually animate backwards, meaning I move my timeline to the finished keyframe and then move backwards from that. It just is a little easier. So I moved my playhead to about 20 frames, and I'm going to just have this animated in position. So I'm going to hit this little stopwatch to activate the keyframe, and you'll also notice a diamond in your timeline, and then I'm going to move my head all the way back to the beginning, and then I'm going to hit this diamond again. This is going to create my second keyframe. Notice I worked backwards, so I hit that diamond. I'm going to have this, I don't know, let's have it just come in from the top. So I'm going to move it up. So now if I scrub through, you can see this is just going to move down. So I animated backwards because I already had the original keyframe set. That's why I put a diamond there. And then I moved backwards from there. So now when we go through, that just pops down. Maybe for this paragraph, we'll do something else. So I might just have this fade in, let's say. I'm going to arrow down on that. I'm going to transform, and I'm going to hit my stopwatch. And now I won't animate backwards so you can see the difference. I'm going to take this opacity down to 0%. And then I'm just going to move forward a little bit, hit the diamond again to create another keyframe for opacity, and take this to 100%. So now if I go back to the beginning, I hit I on the keyboard to go back, and hit spacebar to play. Now one kind of drops down, and then the text comes in. So we have this kind of first animation created. Now let's continue here. So one thing you can think about is nesting. So if I want to call, I'm going to go back to this composition. You know it's a composition because it has a circle, square, and triangle next to it. If I go to my composition settings, Command K, I can name this. So maybe this is my logo animation. And now I can create another composition, Command New, or hit this button. There are several ways. And I could do my mobile screen. And I can make these in separate compositions and then put them all together at the end. So with that being said, I know that that was only 3 seconds, even though I wanted that to be 3 minutes. And I know my screen, how long is my screen thing? I'm not sure. So let me just set it at like, there we go. I set it at 1 minute. So I'm going to bring over now my two things. I'm going to bring over my monitor and put that in place. It's huge, so let's scale that down. And I want this to take up most of the space, right? I mean, I don't want to, they're not coming to see what's behind here. And then I'm also going to bring over my trimmed screen video. And then I scale this down, and hopefully it almost fits. It's a little bigger. It almost fits in here. Now we're going to have to mask a little bit, which is what I want to show you, but not too much. Okay, so if I hit spacebar now, it should just kind of play through, and it actually doesn't look too shabby. I probably would just want to trim out that bottom. So I'll show you how to mask. Now, if I want a mask, I'm on the layer that I want to create a mask. So thinking about a mask as a piece of like black construction paper over this video, and I just want to cut out a hole of what I want to see. I can come up to my rectangle tool, and I'm on again that screen.move, and I'm going to create a rectangle of what I want to keep, so the size of that monitor. And it'll automatically, since I'm on that layer, create a mask. Not too hard, right? And then we'll hit play. And I can see that little bottom I just want to trim out. Let me hit spacebar, go back here. You can edit that mask, so I can arrow down on the mask, select it, and kind of move that up. Okay. So if I'm on the mask, it's changing the mask. If I'm on the screen, it's going to adjust the position of the overall movie. So knowing the difference between what you want to kind of mask. I see a tiny bit up there. I'm not going to be a perfectionist, but I am. Okay, I think it's fine. So now I kind of masked it out, and it's within that. So this will go through this whole movie. I'm not sure how long this is. Let me scrub down. And hopefully, you know, it'll go to checkout. So I'll make sure that fits. Looks great. So I'm going to rename that. Now I'm going to go to my composition settings and just call this, so Command K or Control K. And I'm going to say this is desktop. And I'm going to create another one for mobile, which working the same exact way. And then finally, I'll let you do that independently. And then finally, I'm going to make one new final composition. Now the key here is we have to know how long it's going to be. So if I think it's going to be maximum 3 minutes, so I'm going to do 3 semicolon 00 semicolon 00. So that's 3 minutes. I'm going to bring over now all my different compositions. So I know I have my logo animated first, so I'm going to drag that over. And then I'm going to have my desktop. I'll drag that over. And I can position these so one goes after the other. And as long as this takes. Now, it's going to be less than 3 minutes. So what I can do here is I can adjust my timeline. One, I can figure out how long it is and adjust it. So I could then go to my composition settings and figure out that mine is actually done at, right here, I scrubbed my header to the end, and I can see here that my video is actually 1 minute, 2 seconds, and 19 milliseconds. So what I can do, I'm going to jot that down on a piece of paper so I remember, and then I'm going to go up to my composition settings and change my time to be the exact end date there, end time. Last thing I want to do on this is I'm going to bring over my music and I'm going to put it on the bottom. And the first time it plays through, it's going to have to pre-render, so it'll be slow. But the second time it plays through, it's going to speed up and be in real time. Getting some weird. So after this is all put together, I'm ready to save this as an After Effects document so I can go back and edit it later if there's an issue, say when you're in portfolio class. But also, remember that you have to keep all your moving aspects with it. So not only do I want to save the After Effects document, but I want to keep all my movies and screenshots that I utilized in this together in the same folder. After Effects does not embed videos and images, it links to them. So if I would delete this .move screen, it would break and I could not edit it again. I'd have to go back and reshoot it. Okay, so after I save my hard copy, I'm going to add it to Adobe Media Encoder Q, which is another application. This is going to allow it to then, we'll go to it, it's going to take a minute to download. It'll allow you to render it, and it'll allow you to render it as many formats. I recommend an MP4 that then you could start a Vimeo account, which I highly recommend again for portfolio, and you can upload it to there. So after this opens up, it's going to bring that file over. Sometimes it takes a minute or two, so you have to be patient. And like I said, it's going to take a minute. You can decide what format you want. And then there's this little play button up here in the upper right-hand corner that you can hit play and it'll render. All right, guys, that's how I would start creating your mock-up for a video for your prototype.